Do you not beg sometimes? Hi guys, it's Erin. So today I'm going to be doing the 7 Deadly Sins tag. I'm not sure who first created it, but I will link their info in the description. So I guess we will get started. So the first question has to do with greed, and it's what is your most inexpensive book and what is your most expensive book? I don't really keep track of how much my books cost, and I wasn't gonna go through my whole shelf and see how much each book costs. But I thought that this one would probably be the most inexpensive, and this is The Magician's Nephew, The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This was $7.99, so it's pretty inexpensive, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. And then the most expensive book, I just picked The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey because, again, I don't really keep track, but this is a pretty big book, so I'm gonna have to say that this was probably one of my most expensive books. Okay. The next question has to do with Wrath, and this is, what author do you have a love-hate relationship with? It's a lot of authors that I have a love-hate relationship with. Mostly, I would have to say Veronica Roth, just because I love her so much. But, you know, if you read Legion, what happens in that book, it's such a bummer. I don't want to use the word bummer, because, I don't know. It's so depressing, I guess you could say. And I just really wish that the things that happened in that book didn't happen. I wish you could just rewrite the third book over again and not have anything that happens happen. Does that make sense? I don't know. I hope it does. But yeah, probably you always have a love-hate relationship with authors, I think, because you love them for the stuff that they write, but then when they do something bad, then you don't like them. But you have to remember that they do that kind of stuff for a reason. And now I'm rambling, so I'm going to stop and answer the next question. Gluttony? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hopefully I am. What book have you deliciously devoured over and over with no shame whatsoever? So that's a lot of books, but I picked Clockwork Angel, or just the Infernal Devices series in general, the trilogy, because I just love every single character in this book. Cassandra Clare just develops the characters so well, and I just love me some Will Herondale, so yeah, and I've read this a lot. Also, another book would probably be The Hunger Games, because, who hasn't read this a billion times? I think this is the book I've read the most. The whole Hunger Games trilogy. So, yeah. That's that. The next question is a sloth, laziness. What book have you neglected reading due to laziness? It's not really that I've neglected reading a book due to laziness, because usually when I read a book, it's because I'm lazy and don't feel like doing anything. But I've neglected reading this book. This is Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. I got about, you see there's my bookmark. Let's see. I got about up to page 55, and I just haven't touched it since the summer, August maybe. I don't know. I just haven't read it, which I'm kind of mad about, because I really liked the first book, and I just haven't gotten to read the rest of this book. So, yeah. Oh, you can see the books falling over there. I was trying to make it discreet, but you can still see them, so. Pride. What book do you most talk about in order to sound like a very intellectual reader? There's not a lot of books that I read that will make me sound intellectual, and if it even was a book that was make me sound intellectual, it would probably be a school book that I've read. So, but Pride doesn't have to really be something that's intellectual. So if I could change the question and be what book do you have a lot of pride in? It would probably be The Hunger Games. Or, because The Hunger Games, probably, because not to sound like a hipster or anything, but I read that book like when it first came out, and I don't know, I've just loved it ever since. So yeah, I take pride in the Hunger Games. Next question. Lust. What attributes do you find most attractive in male or female characters? I made a short list. The first one is for male characters, dark hair and blue eyes, because I cannot resist the dark hair and blue-eyed characters, and there are so many of them. I tried to think of all the ones that all the books I've read that have dark hair and blue-eyed boys in the books, and I got Will Herondale from the Infernal Devices. I got Tobias Eaton, or Four, from Divergent. Alec Lightwood, all the, Shadowhunters. And there was one more. Dorian from the Throne of Glass series. He also is dark hair and blue-eyed, which is weird. I feel like all the books I read, there's always one character that's dark-haired and blue-eyed. Another one is, I kind of like it when guy characters are kind of like cold at first, and they kind of warm up to you over time. And I don't know why, I just really like for example, probably Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. Like Perry, if you read that book, he's like very cold and like kind of standoffish at first, but then him and Arya warm up to each other. So yeah. Another one is not like overly like dramatic or like, kind of chill. Not really like too attached, because I just hate it when they're all like, there's too much romance. It just bothers me. That's why I cannot read temporary novels, because the romance has to happen so quickly, and especially if it's only one book, and I just can't deal with that cheesy like love stuff. It has to be like love throughout like a long span of time. That's why I like to read trilogies and series better. And I don't know, contemporary novels just bore me, so that's why you will probably never see me talk about contemporary novels. The only one I've read a few is probably Looking for Alaska, The Fault in Our Stars, and I started My Life Next Door or something like that, and I just couldn't get through it. So yeah. And the last question is envy. What books would you most like to receive as a gift? A lot of books, because I just started really like collecting books, I guess you could say. Like this year or like 2 years ago, when I started really reading, which was in like 7th or 8th grade, I would just get the books off the Kindle, and I'm kind of mad at myself about that now, because I have so many like missing books, and there's two. I really want to get the hardcover trilogy set of The Hunger Games, and then I want to get for Divergent, I have Allegiant, but I don't have Divergent and Insurgent, and I'd really like to get those. Just I could go on and on, because my bookshelf is sparse. Is that the right word? Sparse? I think so. When it comes to like having complete like trilogies. Like I have The Hunger Games in paperback, but I actually stole this from a friend and never gave it back. Shh, don't tell. So yeah, I would like those books. And I will probably ask for them for my birthday, or usually I'll just ask for Barnes & Noble cards, because that's the only bookstore that that's close to me, or that I even know of anymore, because there's like no bookstores anymore. Or either I'll ask for a bunch of Barnes & Noble gift cards like for my birthday, and then just go all out at the bookstore, because that's my favorite thing to do in life, is to go to the bookstore. Even the smell. Is that weird that I like the smell of books, which is mostly, it's just like plastic and paper? Like, I just love the smell of Barnes & Noble. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, well, I hope you guys like this tag video, and if you do, I will probably be doing more tags in the future. I'll try to do reviews, but I'm not very good at explaining books, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye!